switch to me. This your boy N-O-R-E.
What up, is DJ EFN.
And this is Drink Champs Yappy Hour. Make some noise! Today's guest. I literally think it's the smartest person we've probably ever had on Drink Champs. The fact that I've heard that he went to Harvard at 15 years old, graduated at 19, had his own platform. I thought the record labels was going to try to kill him at one point. He was selling direct to consumer first. He was giving out his phone number. He's doing concerts where he's selling the tickets. This man is a mogul. This man is a legend, writer, producer, everything. I've been trying to give this man his flowers, and today we're gonna give him his flowers. In case you don't know who the fuck we talking about, we talking about the one, only, impeccable Brandon. Now, I thrive in dumb rooms.
Don't say that, man.
I play that role good. Are you uncomfortable around other scholars or other, like, you know, what is that, Ivy League school? Or what do you
high
prefer?
IQ rooms?
Nah, I feel like I can move in really any type of room.
Any room?
Yeah. Okay. And to be honest, like, when I first got on Harvard's campus, it was a little, you know, it took some getting used to, just being of color.
And you don't roll.
And no,
you don't roll.
And then also being as young as I was, you know.
15 for real?
Super
Crazy.
young.
Must have been intimidating.
Yeah. So you learn very early on to just sort of move in any type of room. But I really got to give it to my father, man.
Right.
When I was coming up, you know, my parents are from the Caribbean islands.
Okay.
And they worked their whole lives in the Salvation Army. And so they knew that they weren't going to have really, you know, all kinds of wealth stacked up because they sacrificed wealth in the service of others. I mean, still to this day, my mother, you know, going to build hospitals in India, try to retire her, and that's what she wants to do.
Wow.
So my father very early on decided, hey, we immigrated to the United States. I want my kids to be set up, and I know the way to get there, or the only way he knew was...
Came to D.C., right?
Yeah,
DC? Okay,
yeah.
Continue.
And the only way to really get there, in his opinion, was through education.
Right.
So he didn't want me going to just any old schools.
Right.
Anytime we got to a new city, he said, look, let's go find the top tier private school. And then he would go in and he would advocate, hey, I'm a servant of the community. Can you take care of my kids? Can you let my kids in?
Because I was wondering, how would they afford the private schools?
We're not doing the tuition, but we do service in the community. Can y'all, you know, make an accommodation for our kids? But he also said, look, we ain't just doing the private school, because he was still running the Boys and Girls Club as well. So I had to move in both circles. We would go to private school and then go get my tail beat on a basketball court at the Boys and Girls Club in Richmond, Virginia. You know what I'm saying? So I think the other piece of it, though, as well, is in terms of service to others, you never realize the stories and the backstories of folks who are in those homeless shelters, who are in those places. They didn't just, you know, they weren't homeless their whole lives, so they have backstories as well. And you have to sort of learn how to be empathetic in any room. And it really doesn't matter. Like, I think on a human level, everyone is going through something.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? So if you can connect on a human level, whether you're with venture capitalists in Silicon Valley or artists, you know, you talk about a heartbreak, and they gonna automatically tell you, you know what I'm saying, somebody that did them wrong or crossed them, etc. And there's always a line of communication that you can connect with somebody on a human level.
Have you ever had a bad day?
Have I ever had a bad day?
When I listen to your music, I just be happy. Like, I feel like you get up out of the bed with silk robe on. That's how I picture it, man. To be honest, because you really do put in a happy mood. Even your sad songs are happy. Like, so have you ever had a bad day? Of course you did, but you know.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all do. I think it's all. I think, you know, when you talk about those rooms, though, if you're ever in a room with somebody that's worth, let's say, 300, 500 M's or $1 billion.
Okay, wow.
Whatever your bad day is,
it turns good.
They really, you say, oh, I have a $50,000 problem or $80,000 problem or $100,000 medical issue. And they're like, oh, that's small, you know? So it puts things in perspective. And I'll say this, actually, when I first got to New York City and was just producing, I was running around, you know, just running around, producing, doing clubs, dating. Yeah. And I think at one point there was like a record that I was waiting to come out, and I was, you know, I think we was on a chopper doing a photo shoot or something, and I told my girl, I said, hey, you know, I feel like I'm not having a good day. And she said, is your family all right? I said, yeah, they're fine. Are you healthy? Right. Yeah, I'm fine. She says, so what type of bad day are you talking about? Right. And actually, you know, it brings me to that quote. Somebody with $0, right, and they feel like they have a million problems. Right. But someone with all the money in the world and they don't have their health, they only got one problem, right? So for me, I'm healthy. I'm still in great health and strength. I still have you know, great relationships, and so there's not really any reason to ever have a complaint. Right. That's in my opinion. You know what I'm saying?
But you have a very interesting story. First off, like you said, we went to Harvard, and most people go to Harvard and they get away from the music industry. You went to Harvard and you went towards the music industry. Did you feel like you was moving backwards at one point?
I mean, everyone that I initially told my plan to thought I was moving backwards. Right. They said, well, what are you doing here? Yeah. And I think maybe the biggest challenge to overcome initially was my own family, right? Because when I was on the road to Harvard, as you said, parents were like, okay, how are we going to afford this? You know? So my dad said, hey, look, you know, I'm in the Rotary Club. They have these speech competitions. So you're going to write a great speech and you'll go and speak to all the Rotary Club members and they'll put up a couple of dollars to put in the kit so you can, you know, have some money to move around. And so I wrote a speech about how I wanted to be a neurosurgeon. So that was very inspirational. You know, my dad was so proud of it. I was pre-med my first year at Harvard. And I realized, you know, the kids that were in my chemistry class, my biology class, etc., they had a passion for science, a passion for medicine, a passion for what they were studying, the problem sets. And I found that my passion was just music. Right. You didn't have I said, look, you know, if this is what's keeping them up at night, I need to do what keeps me up at night. And I went and maxed out my credit card. I think everybody does that when they go to college. You get a credit card, and I went
to college in jail, so maybe not. Okay, but continue.
I maxed it out.
I did. I got my diploma. My mom's won a diploma on Texas Gate. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah.
So you know, when you get on campus, every bank got the table out, and you go sign up. I get a credit card.
Yeah, that was the predatory lending days.
Of course. And so that's exactly what I wanted. So I was cutting hair on campus, and I wanted my little dorm room to feel like the barbershop. So I had to have the 5-disc CD changer and the receiver and everything, and made everybody listen to my records because there wasn't really a black barber on Harvard's campus. Right. You had to go to Central Square or whatever if you wanted to get your hair cut. So I said, hey, I'm open for business. Right. And anybody that came and we called the barbershop Shady Eights because you're not supposed to run a business at Harvard, right? Which is why like Zuck and Bill Gates, they just dropped out because they were running their businesses. So Shady, and then Eights because we charged $8 a haircut. So Shady Eights barbershop. And then I used to have a line of folks and, it's like when I came in today. If you got a barber, they're about their craft. You got to sit there and wait. You know what I'm saying? So I would have my mixtapes.
You didn't get found out and you had a line outside?
Yeah, we had everybody just sitting on the couch or whatever. And, we cut everybody's hair. But we actually, for me, I would have my records. And people would have to listen, while they were waiting. And that was my initial sort of focus group. And folks were saying, yo, you nice. So I said, hey, I'm gonna go for it.
You were like the Uber driver. You seen the Uber driver recently? He's playing everybody gets shit. And they're like, man, what's going on? So, you still paying off people student loans? I heard you paid off a couple of student loans. Is that true?
Yeah. I mean, I think really right now, sort of what's been super important for me, I think everybody has, if they're extremely fortunate, they have a number of acts in their life, you know? So maybe my first act was a starving artist.
Right.
Then I became a producer. Then I was able to be an artist. Then I built a technology company. And now I'm really at a place where, you know, once you reach a certain level, it's about how many people can you send the elevator down for to bring them up.
Right.
And so, you know, I started to realize that, especially in the United States, in music, there is so much talk about money, cars, jewelry, the lifestyle, et cetera, and it's very aspirational.
Don't forget the hoes.
Right.
Don't
For
forget
sure.
the hoes. That's right.
For sure. It's very aspirational.
Yeah.
But as I started to kind of, you know, have that one-on-one direct relationship with the people who were supporting me, you realize that America, and actually many countries around the world, is actually engineered for folks that only make $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 a year, right? And so to be able to educate folks, you know, sometimes you could, you know, give them a check, but give them a check is like, totally different than teaching them how to fish, how to navigate finances, how to navigate the financial markets, how somebody who's a postal worker can retire a multimillionaire if they know how to put their money, you know, and put it to work the right way. So I would say that's the act that I'm in now, is, you know, when you start thinking about legacy, it's about how many families, how many people can you touch. And what happened is, as I was, because you're right, I gave my phone number out to everybody, and as I was talking to folks were saying, yo, Rye, you know, we love the music, we love what you're talking about, whether it's, you know, like you said, happy songs, sad songs, etc. But you got a couple of records where you're talking that talk money-wise, and is there something that you can share with us? Because we'd be willing to, you know, support you even more if you can show us the way. And so we built a club, and you know, we've basically been minting everyday millionaires through the Wealth Plan Club. And then also what I realized is that a lot of artists, they don't actually have a backup plan, and they don't actually have what they consider or what they you know, what could be their plan B or plan C or their second act or third act. Not everybody's going to be able to just do a podcast. Not everybody's going to be able to do a fashion line.
Or even if you do, they don't have retirement plans or anything.
Man.
They'll spend it all when they get it and not think of what comes afterwards.
Yeah, and so...
I always say that. I always say the music industry and boxing is the only place that don't have like what is it?
A union?
Union, yeah. It's like look how brutal boxing is.
Yeah.
And then look how like the music industry.
Yeah,
but go ahead, continue.
And so I think now what's been awesome is to be able to say, hey, look, everybody, if you've ever seen my Twitter, Instagram, etc., you can reach me directly. And if you're looking for that type of guidance, if you're looking for an infrastructure, I got a whole team, I got a whole staff, and we provide that kind of like business infrastructure. So give you a case in point. Somebody came to me and had just gotten an advance. Maybe it was somewhere between $70,000 to $150,000 little music advance, right? And basically, the first thing, especially young artists want to do is when they get that money, they say, hey, I want to put my mom on payroll, right? And that's great. You should. You know what I'm saying? But you don't have to actually pay that money. You can actually put that money in a vehicle so the money pays your mom a salary.
The interest of that money? The interest of that money?
What?
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah,
for sure. So let's just say, for example, right? You get let's just say, for example, you get a $100,000 advance, right? Currently, there are vehicles, and we help artists structure those vehicles where you can earn 4% per month. It's not a crazy amount, but if you were going to put your mom on payroll at $4,000 a month, yo, mom, here's a debit card, here's a credit card, you got a $4,000 balance every single month. That 100 earning 4% per month is going to pay her for the rest of her life, and that 100 never walks down. Right? So the 100 never walks down. The 100 is just sitting there. It's throwing off the 4. It's throwing off the 4. It's throwing off the 4. Mom is set for the rest of her life. And you actually did something smart with your money as opposed to saying, hey, I'm going to put my mom on payroll and pay her the 4. Because if you pay her the 4 in 12 months, now you only got 50,000 left. Then you pay her the 4 again in 2 years. Now you got 0. Where if you put it in the right type of instrument, then the instrument will pay her. And then what's dope about it is once we start unlocking that for artists, right? They have an incentive because now they understand where the money, when the money comes in, they want to put it in these kinds of vehicles, right?
What's a vehicle like that, for example?
Like high yielding bank account, like savings accounts?
Yeah,
or a CD,
I don't know. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not going to call out stuff because people have to really do their own research.
There's a lot of different ways.
But there are vehicles, and that's what we work on now, because like I said, I always think of my life in terms of how can I be most of service. Right. So when I first came in the game, somebody had to sit me down because when I first came in the game, obviously at 20, when I first moved to New York, 22, 23, I want to be the star. Mm-hmm. I want to be I'm in the offices dancing around. We were actually shopping the artists, but I'm the one, dancing around in the office and everything. And somebody had to really pull me to the side and say, yo, Rod, listen, if you really want to be of service and you want to be valuable, yeah, of course, you need to put the creativity and energy that you have in these offices, but put that energy towards the projects that folks already have invested money in. Right. So one of the first records that I actually placed was New Edition, Hot Tonight. Oh. So there's a record called Hot Tonight on New Edition. And so that was a record that I had actually written. I said, yo, this is going to be my song. It's going to be my single. But when I came to New York and played it, New Edition had just gotten signed. Wow. And they say, yo, this is going to be the first single for New Edition. So it's about being of service. So making that sacrifice sometimes will open the window, open the door to relationships, to opportunities, because people know, hey, look, this is somebody I can go to if we need that single, we can go get one. You know what I'm saying? Right. And then what happened is that opened the door. Then Fab need a single. Yo, you be killing them. Red Cafe need a single. Right. Fly Together. You know what I'm saying? And then basically now I realize, okay, now there's plenty of other producers, right? And I also feel like if you go on YouTube now, every producer that is looking to illustrate their skills, they follow the blueprint that was originated when I was trying to show my skills, right? So I would just be on YouTube, have a camera, this is how I make a beat, etc. Right?
If not the first.
Early on YouTube, early on MySpace, right? So I realized once you pass the baton and the mantle and the gauntlet is passed to the next generation, where is the way that I can be of service? And then I start realizing when I'm having conversations, even just in this conversation, hold on, there's a financial instrument that does that.
I did not know that.
Right?
I did not know that.
And it's not that we haven't been around money. And for me, I didn't learn this in college, but I did have a mentor that actually said, yo, Ryan, listen, when you get your check in the music industry, make sure you put a little bit aside here, and here. Right. And then give me a shout 3 years, 5 years, 8 years, 12 years later and tell me how much it doubled, tripled, quadrupled. Right. And man, I still have those conversations. And so I realize now there's a responsibility that I have if somebody's an artist, if somebody is a manager. Because, COVID hit people super hard, right? Especially managers, right? Managers were making money based on their artists being able to tour. Once the artists can't tour anymore, where's their income coming from, right? Yep. But if they had a little bit saved, they call Ryan. Yo, Ryan, listen, we locked in, we shut out, we can't tour right now. I got a little bit of bread. It need to last me the whole year or, until we get to the other side. Right. And there's also no guarantee that on the other side of whatever the season is, that your artist is going to be hot again, right? And so that's why initially it was about, and actually I'm headed tomorrow. Shout out to Jazzy Jeff. Okay. He runs a playlist retreat. Yeah, and he asked me to come speak at the playlist retreat because I think what was interesting or has been interesting about my story is I didn't need 1 million fans to be engaged. I only needed 10 or 15,000 fans. Right. And if you really think about that, that's
all the money's going to you.
It's all coming to me. And back then, when I was doing it in 2013, and we'll probably talk about this, my laptop had gotten stolen. Yeah, of course. Everybody laptop got stolen. And so at that time, when the laptop actually got stolen, I lost the judgment, right? Because I was running around saying, yo, I got $1 million.
So you had to actually go to court? I thought this was. I thought.
Yeah, because he refused. You said that because they didn't have the music in it, right?
I know you settled.
Yeah.
I think you gave him like some of your publishing or something like that.
Yeah, just for a short amount of time until it was taken care of. But the blow that was dealt is, and that story is crazy.
Yeah, I love it
because it was right. It was literally right in federal court down in New York City. So. I'm living down Wall Street area. I like to be around finance. Living down Wall Street, there's a bodega. They still had a bodega somewhere in Wall Street, right? So I went to the bodega. I've been going to this bodega, getting my breakfast. But this day I walked in, and the guy behind the counter was like, "Yo, can I take a picture with you?" I said, "Yeah, I've been coming here." Well, why today is the day for the picture? He said, "Well, you on the cover of the New York Post today." So I look in the cover of the New York Post, and it has a headline, Rap Weasel, must pay for whatever laptop, because that was the day that the judgment came down.
Wow.
But the crazy part about that story is not just that he wanted to take the picture, but it was actually because when I went to actually pay for my breakfast, it was declined. And I was like, yo, how's this possible? And what I realized is that when you actually have a judgment, that the federal or state government can come in and seize your bank account.
Whoa!
So literally, I go in.
So you didn't know?
I didn't know. I went to sleep and woke up the next morning. There was a $2 million hold.
They froze your assets.
Frozen. So I couldn't even get literally a breakfast sandwich. And he was like, "Yo, if you take a picture with me, we all good." I said, "Okay." We good.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
But that was right around like 2013 or whatever. And so I wanted to make sure that, in a centralized banking system, that's what's possible. The government can come in and just seize your assets. So it wasn't necessarily, because a lot of folks say, well, Ryan, you were early on Bitcoin and you were early on crypto. Necessity is the mother of innovation. So in order for me to feel like I could actually still have control of my finances, I moved everything to decentralized. So all of my tour advances, all of my merch, all of my digital sales, I had taken it off of Spotify, but you got to pay me in Bitcoin. So 2013, we got hundreds and hundreds of payments and transactions in Bitcoin at $125 a coin. Last time you checked, where's the Bitcoin at? Now, I'm not saying this for any other reason, because it wasn't that it was just a genius move. It's almost like if you, and I think if you put good energy out in the world, even if you get a curveball, and even if something happens where, someone else will be like, man, I just got hit for $1 million lawsuit, but they charging interest and my accounts are frozen for $2 million. If you sit down and you have gratefulness for just your ability to still have curiosity and ingenuity, then you're going to have these ideas and opportunities. And as long as your lines of communication are open as well. That's one thing I've always wanted to make sure is, look, anybody who wants to reach me, textryan.com. You can go leave your number in that website and I will text you back. Now I got 100,000 plus people in my phone, but that's why I had to build a software so that I could manage all of it. But in those times, Superphone. But in those times where people actually, they feel like they want to be of service or of help, you're not unreachable, and I find a lot of times when people going through something that's tough, they want to sort of retract from their friends or fan base, etc., not realizing that I think the default human impulse is to be helpful. You know what I'm saying? The default human impulse is to be helpful. So when I actually, was going through that, somebody was like, yo, man, why don't you look at this Bitcoin thing?
A way was shown.
You know what I'm saying? And that way made a serious way. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that's really what my real crusade and purpose is now. And I'm setting up different infrastructures so that I can actually handle all the inbound, because I think, we're in Miami, but I think, Miami money is a major issue. So anyone that's interested, and I know for sure I can actually understand from the concept of of that feast or famine season that happens in music, right? There's going to be times where you're super hot. Everybody wants you for a club appearance. Everybody wants to book you for tour. Then you're in between albums and you're like, where, you know, what we got going on, you know what I'm saying? So the ability to actually set up a financial infrastructure so it's smoothed out. And if you have a couple, you know, you have a couple of dollars put away, they're going to work for you, and they're going to work for you in a really powerful way. So that's really, you know, that's really what I've been working on now.
So let me ask you, right? Because when Twitter first came out, I was a bozo. I thought that this was just between me and the fans. I had no idea that other people could see the same conversation.
You didn't know it was public?
I knew it was public, but I thought I didn't know if you wasn't following me, that you could still see my messages. Like you could go on my thing. I thought this was just for my fans. And I had to learn out the hard way. That these motherfuckers was just being nosy. So most of these motherfuckers wasn't fans. They were just being nosy. How did you make your Superphone? Like, did you know that through Twitter and MySpace? Did you learn that? Because I got caught. I was giving out my phone number and I didn't want to. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was like, it was bad, but yeah, it was bad for me. But
I think really where that really was born from is, you know, when we first, and I say we, it was really just me and one of my brothers, Rashid Richmond.
Started the company?
Yeah. And basically, you know, he was actually, and he's always been super early. So he had actually built a social network and was exchanging emails with Mark Zuckerberg. Like, that's how early he was on building social networks, right? And he still, you know, send me the screenshots, etc. So he basically was like, look, Rye, if you check out the MySpace music charts, I want you to check out who's #1 today, and then tomorrow I want you to call me and check out who's #1 tomorrow. And he had a way that he could actually manipulate, early, and he could make anybody #1 on MySpace music. Now, this wasn't a Billboard music chart, but he was that early in the game to understand that social.
Making financial revenue on MySpace?
What?
I don't remember.
What?
I don't remember ever making money off of MySpace.
No, you couldn't monetize it.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to say.
So people were getting deals off of that shit like that.
Exactly.
I believe Cassie got a deal off of MySpace.
The whole MySpace era of people getting deals.
Exactly.
Yeah, I had a deal, so I ain't know.
Right, and that's exactly how it worked for me. So I already was doing records inside of, you know, the record label ecosystem, but one of my biggest challenges or gripes was that I would do records and then I have to wait. I gotta wait until the album's done. I gotta wait until it's time for, you know, such and such to be mixed. I gotta wait until, you know, whatever release dates, etc. Sometimes my records wouldn't even come out. You know, you feel like you had something great on an album, and then they've decided to move a whole different way. You know what I'm saying? Creatively. So I decided that I wanted to actually sign an artist, do the whole album, top to bottom. I didn't have
the whole thing, write the whole thing as well?
Produce the whole thing, write the whole thing. I didn't have no big studio. I was in a 1-bedroom apartment in Harlem, but we made that whole Cassie album. And I called my boy Rashid. I said, yo, listen, I don't know what these MySpace music charts really mean, but can you get my project, can you get my project that I'm working on #1 on the chart? He said, yeah, what it look like? I said, okay, let's just send you a picture. Oh, he said, yo, this is out of here, right?
So the picture.
Just a picture. And then we had Me and You, the record. That thing went crazy on MySpace. It's still actually kind of going crazy now. I mean, that record still, we talking about, you know, almost 20 years later, it still has a life of its own. But that's really how it all started. And so we had built for Cassie like 250,000 in audience on MySpace in terms of friends, right? And then all of a sudden it became a graveyard. Everyone moved to Twitter or they moved to something else. And I said, yo, all those people, we don't have access to all those people no more. And I said, look, that's I feel like I was just renting the audience from that platform. I should own the relationship. And I felt like, hey, you know, what really is our oldest social handle? I feel like Instagram has done a great job now. DMs, you actually, you know, you can kind of get a sense of who's, you know, messaging you. And, you know, when they send you a message, you get a chance to kind of see what they've been up to. So, oh, yeah, I just saw you. But even before that, I feel like the cell phone number is the oldest social handle because it allows you to actually, you know, have a personal line of communication, which is, like you said, is private, right? And so basically I said, look, if I really want to have a real relationship with someone, and actually I still challenge anybody today. If we went across this room and say, yo, go in your phone, scroll all the way down, how many contacts do you have in your phone? Over the course of your life, you've collected thousands of contacts. The reality is you're probably only in touch with 3% maximum.
For sure.
So if you got 1,000 people in your phone, maybe it's 30 that you, maybe if that, that you're talking to all the time, right? Unless it's your job, you're a salesman or you're a manager, something like that. So my concept was I would prefer to actually have a direct cell phone on everyone, because if people feel as though I'm someone of influence in their life because of the music, then I'm gonna have a high rank if they feel like, yo, I got Ryan Leslie's cell phone. You know what I'm saying? I got Ryan's number. And
it's more personal.
It changed.
But it got to be a headache too. You know you got to have that one fan that hits you all the time.
Not more than one, for sure.
Because he spent $10 one time. Now he think he just want to be there. I got to be annoying. Give us an annoying story.
No. Actually, I think you'd be surprised, man.
Really?
I think, and let's be real. Let's be real, okay? Let's just say, all right, you actually meet someone that you truly respect. All right. Let's say you went somewhere, you even met Barack Obama, and he gave you his cell phone number. Are you really going to abuse that?
Right.
Probably not. Now, you're right. Some fans...
There's a lot of mental health
Some motherfuckers don't got class.
Exactly.
Some people don't got class.
Exactly. But we built the software in such a way that, we have safeguards in place, right? Because
you know what's funny? To this day, I have a friend that I met through MySpace because he jacked me on MySpace. He actually went in my profile and I was
he hacked me.
And I'm friends with him to this day because he was
good. He's not working there anymore because he would get fired.
Good. He's not working anymore. But when we used to take. I'm sorry. I'm gonna be sidetracked, but I mean, if someone made a diss record against me, I would take their whole page. This is back then. He worked there, so he was a super Nori fan, and we became friends. So you are absolutely right. He could have easily, but if I didn't respond, he could have easily turned into like one of those super fans because like he was telling me records I forgot about doing, and then to this day we're friends. So you are right.
And I think he did that because he thought somebody was impersonating you.
Yes,
that's why he took over the page.
So I mean, I haven't really had any crazy. Well, actually, I'm.
Let's go there.
Okay,
come on. I can see it in your face. Let's go there.
I do have a crazy. And you know what? I honestly believe that this person is mentally ill. So I don't want to, I don't want to put them on blast or whatever. But this person is mentally ill, and they would literally find me on every channel, Twitter, Instagram, Discord, cell phone, everything, and was like, and actually I've had stories where people felt like they were. Someone actually pulled up at our spot in Financial District and was like, yo, we're married, right? I say, what you talking about? No, we married. I got the whole certificate and everything, and I sent you money and this and that. And I'm like, yo, this type of stuff is actually happening out here. You know what I'm saying? But I said, look, I'm sorry, miss, but like we're not married.
It's wild out there.
You know what I'm saying? It is wild. It is wild.
Yeah, oh man. So hold up, okay. Let's one quick time of slime. Oh, first off, before we do quick time of slime, we want you to know our show is about giving people their flowers while they're alive. We wanted to give you your flowers. You are one of the most remarkable people in this world, and we want to let you go. Because I'm gonna be honest with you. The first and the fifth person to ever do something is always that risk taker, right? Most of the time, the reward is worth it. But the fact is that you 360 to yourself. It's essentially you just think about it. You control your own merch. You control your when I found out that you were selling the tickets direct to their shows, it's smart, but that's a lot of work. So are you physically doing that?
Yeah, so the way that we've had to do it, like let's just say we're going to do a venue in New York. The venues have deals with Ticketmaster or whoever the vendors are. So we buy out all the tickets, and then we're we are our own resellers. So when people come and get the tickets, we can say, yo, the whole venue sold out already. But that's because I can just go, if it's an 800 seater, I'm still doing, theater size seater, 800 seater. Bang, we get all the tickets, and then people text in, and we just send them a QR code.
So for laymen, what you're doing is you're buying them from Ticketmaster.
Yes.
At a wholesale rate or regular?
Well, we buy them because we want the stats that we sold out.
So you're also buying the stats by buying all the tickets. So now
exactly.
on the books sold out already, and then you could do whatever you want with it through your system.
Exactly.
But let me ask you, how about like states like Miami? Like states like Miami became like the new New York. What I mean is they're not impressed by nothing.
Right.
Like so like, right? Y'all know this. Y'all know how foul y'all all out here.
Right.
They ain't impressed. They all know this, right? So, but this is like a market. Like if they come out if they want to. What happens if you buy out and then only 50%? Do you lose money?
No, we always have.
Okay.
Our process is a reservation.
Okay.
So we'll say, hey, look, we're going to do one night only.
Right.
Miami, for example.
Right.
And we'll say, hey, look, if you're interested, reserve and tell me how many tickets you want to reserve.
Text it. I keep forgetting.
So they come in, they fill out a little form. They say, yo, I want 5 tickets. I want 2 VIPs, etc. We already know before we go to the venue. Right. And we might actually say, yo, we need a bigger venue. We got our reservations is crazy right now. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. And I think that's really, it's nuanced. At the same time, though, it's a very simple, let's call it's just a very simple sort of transition to the information age. Right. If we're in the information age, we should be making decisions based on information, right? Based on information and data. So if you have a means to collect that information and data, then your decisions are just going to be better. Business-wise, you're never going to be holding the bag on anything, right? And so that's the reason why, even if you think about brand new artists that are coming out trying to do merch, now they have just on-demand printing. So you don't have to go buy 70, 90, 100 T-shirts. Right. You just say, hey, look, this is the logo that I want. Right. This is what it looks like. And then through your e-commerce store, they will only print and ship what has been ordered. You know what I'm saying? Right. And so we're getting better and better and better and more efficient at being able to allow creative minds to build enterprise around themselves, and I think I think there's no better time to actually be an entrepreneur than 2024 and beyond.
I think a lot of people have an issue processing the analytics of things to understand it the way you might understand. Not everybody has that knowledge to say, okay, this is what these analytics mean, and this is how I equal it to this marketing plan. Or execute it this way.
Yeah, but I would say this. You're only as good as your crew, right? And if you're the creative in the crew, then you can't say like, yo, I'm going to be the 360 everything. Right. In some cases, maybe you're just like, oh, you have extra hours in the day, and you could do 4 hours of music and 4 hours of data analytics. But you have to think this industry. The creative industry, whether it's film, whether it's podcasts, whether it's YouTube, whether it's influencing, whether it's music, you have so many people that are magnetically attracted to this industry. They want to be around it, but they're not creative. Right. They are the analytical person. They are the management person. They are the operations person. And it's just, once again, I think it's just about putting the bat signal out and saying, look, I want the greatest of the great to be around. If you think what I'm doing is great, I want the greatest of the great around me, and you build that team.
Now, when you opened up this site, did you take your music off of Spotify and iTunes?
Yes.
And now, do you think that same music you put back on your platform? Do you think that helps or hurts you?
I think it helps. It helps? And the reason for it is because when you really, at the very beginning, it was more about doing the experiment. Right. Because we needed to do the experiment, make sure it works. And, these are the type of conversations I was having with Nip. Nip did his Proud to Pay.
Yeah, I heard Nip did it with you.
Yeah, he did Proud to Pay.
Yeah,
exactly.
How did you guys talk about how you guys connected?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, and really, that's got to be through my guy, Nathan McCartney. If you haven't even been noticing what Nate has been doing, he has an Instagram profile called The Bag. It's crazy data analytics about the music business and everything. If you check the followers of that page, it's like somebody who's who in I'm talking about music, film, investment, etc. But he's always been one of these guys that's had his ears to the ground and was one of the first guys that worked with me on Superphone as well. But he actually was the one that put me with Nip.
With Nip. So let me ask you, I know we're bouncing around, but we're going to cover all grounds. He comes to you and says, I want to sell a tape for $1,000.
Yeah, and basically,
you didn't think he was out of his mind?
Nah, because he had already done the $100 one.
That's right.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I forgot
that's the one that Jay bought 1,000 of them. I think.
Yeah, but Jay bought 1,000 of the.
Nah, he bought 100. So that was the screenshot. The 10 bands, 100 albums at $100, 10 bands, right? Yeah. So he had already done that, but he said, "Yo, Rye, listen, you know." I've been looking at what you were doing. Like, we just sat down and compared notes, and I said, "Hey, look, I'm gonna be honest with you. If you allow folks to actually give you what they believe is worth to them, and you don't put the price on it, then there will be some folks that will come through and say, 'Hey, I think your music has changed my life. It got me through whatever.'" I've had folks come to me, and actually, this is for any artist. "Yo, your song got me through a breakup. Your song got me through cancer. Your song got me through whatever it was." And to them, it's priceless. Mm-hmm. So if they have it, they'll give it. And if you don't put a cap on what you think it's worth, hey, it's worth $12, then I was showing him in my Superphone, hey, I got folks that have spent $5,000, you know, $15,000, $25,000 with me. He's like, "Yo, off a $12 album?" And I say, yeah, because once you build a relationship, they'll tell you what they want in terms of what's premium. Right. And so when he was putting the whole package together, it wasn't just, "Yo, here's the CD for $1,000. Right. You got to go to a show or, you know, got a phone call, whatever it was. And I say, "Yo, man, let's do it." And you have the app and you got all the data and you'll know every single person, where they live and their zip code and their, you know what I'm saying? And you can actually show them your appreciation for their support.
Is all this stuff that you did, and then even what you're describing here, pre-Patreon? Because it sounds like the Patreon model.
Yeah, it was pre-Patreon.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I said it in your intro. It's like you're a real threat to the industry, because if they have more of you, what are they needed for?
Listen,
you're putting everyone out of a job. So you ever got nervous?
I never worry about that, for the simple reason that when it's your time, it's just your time.
Right.
And you have to do the most that you can with the decades that you have. Right. And we really only get 3, 4, if we talk about decades. Right. You know what I'm saying? And we're lucky if we get 3 or 4 of them. You know what I'm saying? So you have to do the most that you can with the decades that you have. And if I really think about it, some of the artists that we still revere to this day, there's this concept of like the artist age of reckoning, where like some of our greatest were all gone by like 28.
Tupac, Big, both.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And so they did what they had to do with the time that they had. So for me, I'm like, yo, I've had plenty of decades, you know. Right. And so if what I'm able to do is plant the seeds, whether it's plant the seeds for, like you said, a Patreon, or you know, any of the Superphone competitors that have come out, right, and clones that have come out, or plant the seeds for the next artist to be able to know what to do with their money, how to do it with their money the right way. I think, you know, there is a possibility to actually have a real creative middle class, right? Because, you know, for me, and going back to the beginning of the conversation, for me, going to Harvard and then saying I want to be in music, everyone just assumed I was going to be broke. Right. Just assume. They just say, yo, you want to be creative, you want to be in the arts, you're going to be starving for a long time. You might just get that break where you're the 1% that actually gets on. But I think as you're talking about, if you understand how the data works, as Nip was talking about, you understand how to connect with that core group. It doesn't matter even if it's just a product that's not music. Even if it's just you're starting a coffee brand, you're starting a liquor brand, whatever. You find that core group and you can appeal to them, they will be loyal. And I think it allows for there to be an actual creative middle class where you can actually, and it's tough though, because that's almost like an oxymoron. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because most folks, when they think creative, they don't want to be middle class. It's like when Ye said, you know, what you think I rap for to try? Right. That's not what you're doing it for. But the bottom line is that if you're doing what you love to do,
if you can earn a living,
if you can earn a living doing what you love to do,
you made it.
How valuable is that?
You made it.
How valuable is that? You know what I'm saying? And so, really, for me, I think really that's the crusade that I'm on. So I'm not worried about, you know, if it's my time or, you know, all the greats. The greatest of the great, their impact was even more exponentially increased by the fact that, you know, maybe folks felt that they were gone too soon.
Right, like Martin.
Where you talk about Martin, you talk about X, you talk about Nipsey, you talk about Bob Marley, you talk about Pac, because Jimi Hendrix, the body of work that they have, that's all you got. And then you start realizing, man, to be that age and be talking like that, playing like that, thinking like that, you know what I'm saying? Right. And it sets the bar for us that are actually still here. We still here, so we better be continuing to push, you know what I'm saying?
Am I hearing you correct when you say that you're happy enough with just planting the seed, almost like you believe in what you're saying, open source? Is an open source that everybody could go do this?
Yes.
Because I would hate for corporations, won't name any companies, to take your idea and then run with it and then monopolize it.
What you at one point?
Yes. Okay. Yeah, he was one of the first investors in Superphone.
So the record label, for lack of a better term, they are participating. Because I think Meg Thee Stallion had something on it too, right?
Yeah, so Cardi, Bad Bunny, Zayn from One Direction, Miley Cyrus.
Doing this through the record label, or they doing this through you direct?
It depends. Sometimes the management company, sometimes it's through the label. But yeah,
I would think in order for artists to reap the same benefits of you, the only how they can do that is they do the direct to you.
And I think that goes to your question.
Right.
Once the knowledge is open source, then it allows for folks to build on it and iterate. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's just the human cycle. We have to enhance and iterate. You know what I'm saying?
For lack of a better terms, you are like the Steve Jobs of this. So you know what I'm saying? Like,
appreciate that, man.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's the one thing I want to commend our community is that. If we have the information, we will go support the information.
Right.
A lot of people don't have the information, and a lot of people are probably saying, well, this guy is super smart. He went to Harvard. He's the only one who can do it. But just saying, it's I went to Harvard and I am super smart, but I'm not the only one that can do it. And you'll get down. Like for me, searching, I love the fact that I see Megan has something on your platform. I love the fact that I found out Nipsey did that to you. So you think that's going to be more popular? Like more artists going to come? Do you think Jay-Z would drop an album on your platform?
Yeah, I think honestly, I think it's all possible.
Right.
I think it's all possible, and at the end of the day, for me, it's just about, like I said, being of service. So if this is a way I could be of service, then great. If it's more on the money tip and people want to figure out, hey, I just got my advance, I don't want to mess it up. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I could do it that way as well. But I'm in a great place. I'm super blessed. And so, as much as I can give, what I found is the more that I give. Right. And, my parents are religious. So they say, look, the more you give, the more your cup will be filled so that you can give more. You know what I'm saying? So I'm good where I'm good.
Karma's a two-way.
Yeah.
You ever thought the music business would come down to this? Like, because it's like, there's so much disposable music out there. Like in the 90s, in the 2000s, I don't want to sound like that old guy. Oh, in my day, right? But I'm just gonna just to deal with the facts. It felt like music when it was analog. We had to be in the studio together. It felt like the music was better. Does that feel like that?
I feel like that.
You
but
feel like that?
I'm super. I'm in that world too.
Yeah.
I listen to Thriller.
Right.
And I listen to those records. I listen to, and actually one of the folks that really put me onto this was Tommy Mottola. So my first record was with Casablanca. So I had records and I came in and played them for Tommy and he said, yo, Rod, these are good, but I got my guy, T-Bone Walk, and he's just gonna come in and just play the records for him and just see what he come up with. Man, this guy came in and put bass lines, and Tommy Mottola was playing guitar because Sony's music studios were still open at that time. So he'd come in and so I think there is a there's a certain magic of that time and that era, which is probably nostalgic for me. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, listen, you know, each generation has their own, you know, what matters to them. You know what I'm saying? I think for me, I'm just I'm old school like that. You know what I'm saying? That matters to me.
I love analog.
Yeah.
Where was you at when you heard that Kanye kind of like challenged a whole he did it on here. But he kept going. He kept going. It just happened here. Like that was like, now I'm smarter, right? Now I see that he actually, I didn't know. I was living in history. Now that it's history, it's like, damn, it's the first time you've seen a person, I don't want to even say a black person, I want to say a person, period, challenge a company and then kind of like prove it. Like, not the racist part, but the fact is that they kind of kept selling his sneakers. They kind of like, where was you at when you found out this? And I know you got a relationship with Ye. Yeah,
I really kind of live in my own bubble. You know what I'm saying? So I'll see little things that are happening. But I mostly invest my energy, time, and resources where I can make a difference. And so in that struggle, that's his struggle. Maybe a phone call of support is the most that I could offer. When I'm talking about the artists that come to me and they, you know, they're not taking on a corporation head on, but they want to take care of their mom or they want to do whatever, I know that my time, energy, and resources is well spent, and I can see the impact and the result of the investment that I'm making. So, you know, I think I might have just been, you know, just wherever I was when I saw it and said, hey, look, you know, more power to those who are fighting those fights. And I know where my actual strengths are. I know where my muscle, per se, can actually add value.
Because I would think that him and Ty Dolla $ign's Vultures belongs on your platform.
Hey, let's make it happen. Let's make it happen.
Nah, because you got to think about it. All the things that Ye has talked about and been through, then you come to find out that Vultures was on Atlantic, and you're like, what? That didn't make sense to me. I remember it was John Monopoly or something. It was a tweet, and it's like, this whole time I thought this is what he was fighting for, to be independent, and then come to find out y'all got a secret deal with Atlantic. It does not make me mad. It just makes me disappointed because I'm just like, wow, I thought we were fighting for independency.
Hey, I'm willing to be in the trenches and fight for it with whoever wants to actually fight that fight. Some folks, they don't want to fight the fight. They actually just want to be creative. They don't want the actual added weight of actually having all of their customer data. They want to just, you know, and it depends on where you are in life. What is it that matters to you? You know what I'm saying? But if you want to run your creative business and enterprise at a data-driven level, which is how every great multi-trillion-dollar business runs their enterprise. Amazon knows everything you've ever done on their platform. Everything you've looked at, they know. Instagram knows everything you've done on their platform. Everything you've looked at, they know. Every conversation you've had, whether you give them permission to or not, it's on their servers, right? So if you decide that you want to actually shoot for multi-trillion-dollar status, which now there are several companies that have reached multi-trillion-dollar status. We saw NVIDIA get to multi-trillion-dollar status just this year. You have to run it and assume the responsibility of managing, navigating, and analyzing that data. And so,
and there's the AI tools to help with it now,
of course,
like never before.
Of course, but you have to have a desire to do it. So it's almost like people who say, well, why is so-and-so selling their publishing? Well, it's because they would like to actually bring forward the actual revenue to today and let somebody else wait for the revenue payouts, right? And somebody will say, well, you know, that's your annuity, that's your retirement plan. But if you get $200 million up front, that $200 million up front, you could do with that what you want to do now at the health and strength that you have now than waiting 12,
fortune teller.
14, 15 years for that $200 million to trickle in. You know what I'm saying? So I think everybody has their different motivations and desires for how they want to run their business, and more power to them. For those that want to run it at that level, to have that infrastructure technologically, analytically, then that's what we're here to help out with.
Now, what life would have been like if you never lost that laptop and you made Watch the Throne album.
Wow. Well, I mean, actually, we can look at the trajectory. I'll probably be Hit Boy. There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Okay, because hit niggas in Paris. I'm trying to.
Yeah.
Say, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Wow. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
And I think he's had an incredible run.
Him and Nas made some classics.
Yeah, for sure.
To me, recently.
For sure.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? But I think the world and the universe and God shows you where your light can really shine. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I really feel. Like, there are folks that have come to me, yo, man, your studio videos, you know, like we just did a Tiny Desk. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I saw that.
And the bottom line is, I feel like the gauntlet has been passed.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We passed the mantle on. Now I'm doing what no other producer could actually do.
Right.
They can't do that.
Because I don't, when people say everything is meant to be, sometimes I think life makes a mistake too. Like, sometimes, because I don't think like, what would that record would have sounded like with you, Hove, and yeah.
Man, we got
and at that moment.
Yeah.
At that moment. Like,
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out, because you went hard for the laptop when that happened. So,
Yeah.
and then I come to find out.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
now I come to find out that was one of the reasons
Yes.
why, was because you had Watch the Throne.
Yes.
So, what did that? They never came out.
Never came out.
You got
Never
you
came
ain't got.
out.
Oh, that's right. It's in the laptop, right?
Yeah.
You ain't got nothing.
Never came out, man.
I want to hear how that record sound.
You know what I mean?
As a fan, I want to hear that.
Yeah.
No copies of that anywhere.
Nah, I mean, maybe they have, because we were recording out in Bath, England. So whoever that engineer is, he has.
Oh, he got it.
Yeah, he has a.
He gonna sell it to somebody. He gonna sell it to somebody.
He got him.
Now let me ask you, being the fact that you have this direct relationship to your fans, Wu-Tang a couple of years back did an album.
Yes.
And the album was just for
A one of one.
One of one.
Yeah.
Is that something you ever been offered to do?
Mm-hmm.
And two, would you do it?
Yeah. So me personally, I truly believe that music is to be distributed,
Okay.
right? It is a strange business model. Right. I think it's an extremely strange business model because literally I've seen art and it's hard to wrap your brain around it, especially down here. Art Basel's down here.
Yeah.
Sometimes you go into these galleries and you literally see it's a canvas and it's all red. Yeah. And that's the whole thing.
Garbage on the floor, or whatever. On the wall.
But it's literally someone paid $12 million or $22 million or $100 million for it. You know what I mean? Right. So that doesn't exist in music. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. I think Wu-Tang was at least shooting for that. But I think the difference with music is that it's created so that many can enjoy it. You know what I'm saying?
You're right about that. I go to Art Basel every year. I haven't seen a painting I like yet. I have not seen one.
The ones we like are on the walls outside.
Like, and you know what it is? It's in the eye of the beholder. Like, it's not meant for me. This is not for me. I'm here for the event. I'm here to talk and kiss babies, but
there's some scam in it too. There's not.
Yeah, but I ain't fall for it.
It's an incredible vehicle for ultra high net worth people.
There's people using that as a vehicle.
Yes, exactly. Right. Absolutely.
So we gonna do quick time with Slime?
Let's go. Oh, one thing, when we talk about the number thing, we can't forget, we got to shout out Mike Jones. He was doing the number thing too. Yeah. You know, in Texas, it's hella indie, so he was on to something. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, he was.
I always thought y'all wasn't giving out your real numbers. This is your real number.
Real number.
Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, what we doing here? All right, guys.
Yeah.
So do you want to get a designated drinker?
Oh, yeah, because you ain't drinking.
Okay.
Look. Hold on, before we go on. This is certain thing that I love about having this job. One is to see if the guest is drinking and what they are drinking. Right. And we always bet, well, if they're going to be on time or not.
Okay.
I lost to you today. You came at 4:04. I was like, he's going to be here early.
Right.
And then the other thing that was very impressive.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I bet on you I lost. Don't worry about it. It's only 4 minutes.
We had to circle the block. We actually were here.
Okay. All right, yeah, but you got to be in here.
Okay.
We bet on you. He's on time. He's on time.
Creepy inside. That's on time.
He's on time. But I thought when we did this that you was going to have, like, it's always... Someone say, this is off the table, and you can't ask that. I thought you was gonna. I almost bet that you was gonna say, "This is off the table. This is that." And when I found out that you did not say none of that, I was like, "Wow, this guy's about that life." So that's hard. Absolutely, yeah. You'll be surprised the shit we go through. When people,
Right.
2 minutes before, they'll be like, hey.
As many of y'all know, Drink Champs wants to give flowers while people are here to receive them. Giving flowers and celebrating our legends while they can still smell them. We have partnered with What the Flower to create this movement where everyone can give flowers to the legends in their lives. You can now order a custom flower box for the someone you want to show appreciation to by visiting www.wtflower.com and place your orders now.
That's hard as fuck.
Go ahead, E, you want to go first?
Well, we want to get him a designated driver.
Oh, yeah, designated drinker. Yeah.
Hey, can you explain your segment?
Yeah, so
Explain the
we're going to
segment.
give you 2 names, 2 places, 2 things. And this is really just to bring up people, places, and things for stories. You
Okay,
say?
bet.
It's no criteria.
It's not
It's no,
a
like,
diss
you don't-
to anybody.
yeah, it's not-
And you pick one,
Okay.
and nobody drinks. If you pick one,
Okay.
nobody drinks. But if
Okay.
you say both
Yeah.
or neither of them, like you don't really want to answer it, then we all drink. The table drinks.
Okay.
So if you have a designated drinker,
I ain't gonna lie.
Oh, my fault? Okay,
Yeah.
motherfucker.
Yo, I ain't gonna lie. You look like you got drunk a lot of nights on Malibu. That chain says Malibu drunker. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
so please, any stories that
Yeah.
come up with anybody, we're not trying to diss anybody. It's all love for everybody we mentioned.
Yep. Yeah, he can be right there. Yep. You be on the side of him.
Okay, bet.
He said that's your barber?
Mike Falb.
Oh, Mike Falb. Okay,
Right,
okay. I'm about to say, that's kind of weird. The barber gonna drink? All right, cool. My bad.
You ready?
Yes.
Kanye or Pharrell?
Whatever criteria you want.
You said story? I gotta tell a story?
No. You can pick one,
You
and
pick,
then
it's-
you can-
the game
yeah.
is you pick one or none.
Yeah.
Oh, I pick one or none?
You
Yeah.
can say both, none,
Yeah, we
or
drink.
you pick. And if
Yeah.
you pick, we don't drink.
Yeah.
Right.
If you pick one, we don't.
But if I want everybody to drink, I say both?
Yeah.
Both or neither.
You,
Both.
you caught, he's too
Both.
smart. he
Both.
caught on too fast. He caught on too.
But we're saying if you got stories with anybody,
Yeah.
this is really just to bring up names, places, and people. You know
You work
what
with
I'm
Pharrell,
Yeah,
right?
both.
saying? Okay.
Okay, both.
What's your choice?
He got
Get your
us.
shot.
Yeah.
Salud.
Salud.
Ryan, you better not.
Right.
What do you got? Tequila?
And baby shots, because it'll
Yeah.
go. It'll go.
Okay.
You know?
Tequila?
Oh, yeah.
I don't like vodka. Oh, shit.
Yeah, get the tequila.
Matt, there we go.
Living.
Right.
That was funny. Right.
Right.
I get it. Okay, you want me to take
But
this?
let him get his drink.
Okay. Oh, he
already had
yeah, he
it.
got
I'm
no.
waiting for the tequila.
Oh, he waiting for the tequila.
we
Yeah,
can cut.
yeah,
We
okay.
can cut right into it.
Okay.
That's funny as hell.
There you go.
Okay. Chris Brown or Usher? You gotta take one shot off top.
Yes.
Yeah.
Catch up. To catch up. Chris Brown or Usher?
Both.
Oh, damn.
You both in all of this shit, huh? Fab or Kiss?
I know what you're gonna say.
Fab.
Okay,
That's my guy.
Yeah. Y'all make great music together too.
Jeez.
How did you guys connect?
Man, the late great Ed Woods.
Oh,
You know
wow.
what I'm saying? So I had a record called Used to Be, and he said, "Yo, we're gonna get. You need a feature on this."
Right.
And he went and got Fab. And you know what? I was so naive early in the game.
Wait, what do you mean?
And so we got in the studio, and I tried to tell Fab I didn't like one of his lines or something like that. So he was like looking at me.
That's what he meant.
He's like looking at me.
And you a new producer?
Yeah, I was brand new.
Brand
and
new.
it was my song,
Right.
and Ed was like, "Yo, I got a surprise for you.
Right.
Go in the studio." Fab
Right.
is, and he said something like, "It could be how it used to be, because it used to be the charm. I'm early like a rooster on a farm with a Jacob exclusive on the arm." And I said. Rooster, that's not a good line. He was like looking at me like, "Yo, man." But from there, he
Right.
said, "Look, Ryan." He said, "Look, this is what I'm known for, Ryan.
Right.
Like, these type of lines and punchlines. That's what I'm known for." Right. So I said, "Okay,
That was cool of him.
I understood my place,
Yeah.
right?"
But they
Straight up.
say Dr. Dre does that all the time.
But
Like,
he's saying he was new. He was
I was
green.
brand new.
He-
I
Yeah,
thought-
but-
I was-
okay, I
was
forgot
not
that
doing
part,
Dr.
yeah.
Dre level.
now he might do it.
Right,
Back
right,
then, it was-
yeah. Okay. Brand ass new. Okay,
Right.
got it. All right, next one.
Swiss and Timberland.
Swizz.
Okay.
You worked more with Swiss, right?
I've actually never met Timbo.
Never met Timberland?
Never met Timbo.
Oh man, really?
I mean, talk about a super huge student,
Right.
but never met Timbo.
Hopefully that changes after this.
Yeah.
For sure.
Primo or P-Rock?
Neither.
Oh shit! We don't drink. Oh, we do drink.
Neither.
You said neither. Okay.
Right.
Any reason why neither? Just no influence there?
Well, no, I just don't have any. I don't have any. You're saying I don't have a story, right?
No, it's not.
It's too late to drink.
It's too late.
No, it's not about having. It's
I
just
thought I have a story with
any criteria to
Yeah.
if you pick somebody. It could be anything.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a story. We just say if you have a story.
He's just so smart. He just overthinks.
Yeah, you overanalyze it.
For sure. So okay, so if we
Like,
go
we could
back
say
to that,
pineapples and
No, it's too late.
mangoes.
You made us drink already.
right, no, okay, all right, yeah.
Yeah.
People will be like, "Damn, he don't like Primo and P-Rock." You got it?
Yeah. Johnny Gill or Ralph Tresvant?
Both.
I thought you were gonna say Ralph Tresvant.
Both.
Cool.
I mean, I did that. I did the new edition record.
That's
You know what
right.
I'm
That's
saying?
right. They both new
Yeah.
edition. That's right. Well, I don't know where you're gonna go with this.
Ooh, this is a good one.
Michael Jackson or Prince? And if you got a story with either, please share. No.
We got to go both.
Yeah,
on that
yeah.
as well.
You give the neither look like.
No, we got to go both on that.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Good. Take the next
Are you
one.
gonna have this under the table? Any story with MJ or Prince?
Well, I actually, the closest I ever got to having a Michael Jackson story was just being around these producers from Philly, Vidal and Dre. And they've been working with Floetry. And I remember being in a studio session and they were playing the Butterflies record that Marsha had written for Mike. And I was just like, yo. And I think they had his vocals and it was...
That's the closest you've been to him?
That's the closest to an actual
Right.
story. And then I think the VMAs one year, I actually was able to ask Quincy Jones, because he was backstage at the VMAs,
Right.
so I was able to ask him a question, just about that. But that's the closest I've ever been.
Right.
But in terms of just Prince in general, that's a whole nother level in terms of musicianship and
independence, what he was striving for.
and also when you think about it, the legend is that he was 16 years old,
Right.
and he went in the studio and he didn't have a demo. He just went in the
just made
studio
it?
and
Oh,
just
wow.
made it in front of everybody.
Wow.
And so that really was what
That's
inspired.
damn near religious.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what I'm saying. At like 16 or 17,
Right.
he didn't have the demo. They just said, "Yo," they put the tape, and this is back when they were running the tapes.
Right.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah. When you had to cut the tapes to edit it,
so he
yeah.
laid all the drums. Then he said, "Yo, run it back." Laid the guitar, run it back. Laid the bass, run it back. Laid the vocals, etc. So that's really what the blueprint was for all of the studio videos that I was making.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Speaking of Prince, Nas told us a story on this show. We asked him if anybody ever denied him. And he said Prince denied him because he didn't own his own masters.
Wow.
So Prince was on what you was on
Wow,
back
yeah,
then.
for sure.
Like, he was telling people, you own your own shit. So imagine that. The closest I ever got to Mike is Pharrell sent him a bunch of beats.
oh, this story's amazing.
And Michael called him and said, no. I want what Nori rhymes on. He's like, I want what he
Did he
rhymes
sing?
on.
Did he sing? Well,
Nah. But he was like, if you're something to the fact. And I always picture Mike listening to me like gangsted out.
Right.
I always get so Pharrell says.
like in the bad video, he's listening to
Like I can
Superphone.
literally hear Pharrell sweating. Like he's like, yo, you won't believe this call. And I'm like, what? He's like, I took out the phone with Michael Jackson's people. And they said, if Noriega ain't gonna rhyme on the beat, don't send us the beat.
Wow.
That would have been the illest.
I
skit if
always
you could've
picture
got
Mike in the
that
car like
vocally.
with a bandana on. Yeah. So I'm sorry. I had a flashback.
D'Angelo or Anthony Hamilton?
D'Angelo.
I heard he's coming out with a new project too.
Man, even if this man never came out with another project, I mean,
yeah,
the Voodoo album was...
yeah, absolutely. Wu-Tang or NWA?
Wu-Tang.
Teddy Riley or Raphael Sadiq?
Teddy Riley.
Was it because of proximity of Virginia?
Yeah,
Like
I'm about
him?
to say that.
Well, I mean...
DC, Virginia.
Well, I mean...
And Teddy.
First of all, just
You made
Teddy
Right
Riley.
Shaker.
Right. So Blackstreet, Guy.
Yeah.
And then if you talk about Pharrell, Timbo, they came out of there.
Yeah,
Devontae
that's like a
Swing.
lineage
Yeah,
there.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, and Devontae and Jodeci,
Jodeci.
literally, I was studying everything those guys did.
Right.
You know. So,
Jodeci
and they
was
all
crazy.
said Teddy was the godfather, basically.
Now, this is what I don't know where you're going to go with this. This could go either way. I could bet on your answer, but I'm going to lose because you've been shocking me all day.
And give us a story if you got one.
And
please.
Yeah.
Quincy Jones or Dr. Dre? The R&B is pulling you one way, and the hip hop is pulling you the other.
Dre.
Wow.
Did not know
I
that.
did not expect that.
I
Right.
thought you would have guessed Quincy.
No, and the only reason is
Please.
the In the Club beat was the beat that I basically, I feel like I modeled my entire career
Really?
off of just the beat itself. Because basically, like even right now I could go and basically the simplicity of that and
Right.
the ability, even without the lyrics, for me to just actually be able to beatbox that beat and how simple it was and how it knocked.
Sonically, yeah, it was crazy. Yeah.
Unbelievable. So when you think about the biggest record I ever had, I can sing that bing, 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 bing.
I see
And,
it.
and if you think about that, how sparse that is
Right.
sonically, I mean, so I mean, and also to be honest, Quincy just seems like worlds apart, even for me musically,
Right.
in terms of what, as a producer,
Like
he
on
could
another
do.
planet or just historically, like how are you seeing them worlds apart?
Well, I'm saying like if somebody came to me and said, "Yo, here's a 40-piece big band orchestra and arrange something for Frank Sinatra,"
Oh yeah.
Quincy Jones gonna close his eyes and conduct
no,
it.
he was a
And-
genius,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So I don't even put my, like, you know, Stevie,
Yeah, it's a
Quincy,
different- it's a
Prince,
difference.
you
Right,
know,
right.
I don't even put myself in that, you know, but when I think about the reason why I say Dre is I feel like, okay, I wasn't necessarily musically trained. I don't know if Dre was musically trained.
Right.
But there was something
He's
that
a
he
DJ.
has.
He was at first, so that's the training, right?
to be able to recognize and be that sort of sonic architect.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's, you know.
Do the next three. Mary J. Blige or Erykah Badu?
Both.
Damn.
I thought we was gonna do light work today.
Right.
He came in saying
This
both,
guy-
both, neither.
Hit maker or hit boy?
Don't look at me.
Neither. I don't.
Jeez.
Okay.
Jesus.
No stories with either one.
No stories. And
Remember, it's not the story thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
but we're gonna go on this with stories.
That's,
Okay,
that's,
okay,
that's
okay.
your
All right,
criteria.
yeah, that's his
your
criteria. That's
criteria,
right,
okay?
that's right,
I like
that's
it.
right.
Let's,
I like
but
it
let's
too.
make that clear.
Right.
It's not dissing.
All
right,
It's
right.
that's your criteria, right?
Right.
No stories.
Analog or digital?
You took your shot, bro?
Oh, I've been took the shot earlier.
Oh, okay.
I got another one.
Analog.
Analog. Me too.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that. All right. And then you go to the next ones. Thriller or Bad?
Thriller. Easy.
Tell you was a Thriller type of dude.
Thriller.
How can you tell that? I want to
I don't know.
I don't know. What are you seeing him?
I can feel like he had the jacket at one point, white
Right.
gloves, all that.
Right.
You come across like that, like in a good way. A lot of us had that Michael Jackson glove. Stop fronting.
Right.
Yeah, looking around, people now even want to make eye contact right now.
Right.
Yeah, they had the jacket too. I had it. All right. Whitney, okay, you go.
No, you started
Whitney
already, yeah.
or Aretha?
Whitney.
DJ Quick or the RZA?
Neither.
Okay, fuck.
You're neither. Yeah, I'm not used to it.
Yeah,
man.
I'm not using either. It's used to both. Everyone's used both.
Right.
Tupac or DMX?
Pac.
You got a story then? That's your criteria.
Yes.
Okay, good.
So, but I don't obviously he was gone before. Go ahead.
Yeah.
But like I said, we started the whole Cassie project, and Rashid literally was like, yo, I don't care who you're listening to, et cetera, et cetera. It's all Pac all the way. And also Pac, because there was, when I actually was one of those kids that went to a band camp. And I had
you went to the infamous band camp?
I went to a band camp.
From American Pie?
No.
You know what goes down in band camp?
So I had one of those, one of those super early adolescent, crushes. Right. And she basically, I wanted to make records, or write songs, and she was like, "Oh, well, I'm doing this song for Mother's Day," and she had the Dear Mama song from
the girl from Bandcamp.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, all right, cool. Isaac Hayes or Curtis Mayfield?
Neither.
Okay, well.
And then he looked up at me crazy like, neither.
He knows we about to go down. Okay, I know where you're gonna pick on this one. At least let me take the shot first.
Right.
I say he's picking the second.
He's been saying
Like
James Brown,
water.
James Brown or Jimi Hendrix.
Ooh.
So I feel like Jimi Hendrix and Bob Marley's like your thing, but James Brown.
Both.
Because you're a fan of Jimi Hendrix and Bob Marley.
Yes.
I feel like that's
yeah, but for different. Yeah, different.
And James Brown.
Yeah, James Brown. 100%.
I met James Brown once. He came up to me and said, "Keep sampling my shit."
Right.
Oh shit.
Okay, all right. Nah, I mean, if you look at the Diamond Girl video,
right.
that's a James Brown. That's actually a James Brown reference. Mm-hmm. Because in that video, I'm wearing the tuxedo. I come down the joint. We got the band playing. That's an actual James Brown reference. Yeah.
Everybody took their shot?
Oh, I took my shot already.
I gotta take one.
Oh,
I'll be very honest.
This one.
Thank you.
So I'm gonna ask you this, but then I'm gonna ask you in separately a different way. Major or independent?
Major or independent?
Yeah.
Independent.
Okay. Your first two albums was on Motown, correct?
Yes.
This is me being straight spoiled. It was hard for me to go from a major to independent because I like the Four Seasons. Mm-hmm. I like, these other shits. And when I went from major to independent, I had to downgrade. I don't know if that's the right word, but it is. Damn.
What?
Yeah, but I had to downgrade.
In your
some
mind,
shit.
it was, yeah.
Yeah, like it was. I had to go back to the Sheraton.
But it was completely different for me. I had I wasn't a multi-platinum. There was a lot of respect for the musicianship, but it wasn't like I was multi-platinum, Billboard #1 hits, and records in clubs and the hottest, et cetera, et cetera.
No, but it looked like that to us, at least.
Maybe it looked like that, but I mean, to be frank, we sold 180,000 records the first
on Motown,
and 60,000 on the second. Now the second one we got nominated for a Grammy, but I mean that's a total of. I mean we didn't even
And still in the era where you had to sell like crazy amount of records, gold and
so
platinum.
You literally, I heard you say this before, but you literally made more money off of your independent albums than you did. Now, is it entirety? How about the tours?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I didn't even tour off of those albums.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying.
So, like, once we went independent, then I understood, like, okay, this is how we're going to really get to the money. Because that's, I think, what's so opaque. It's very opaque when you're a major label. You're at the major label, things are paid for. Studios paid for. Advances paid for. Travel is paid for, etc. But then once the sales come in, unless you reach a certain amount, you got to wait till your next album budget opens up before you get paid again.
It's a bank loan.
I think you had the 80-20 your first deal or something like that.
Something like that. That's what I'm saying. It's just like, for me, I don't like that opacity. I want to have full transparency.
I don't know what that word means. Say that again. Opacity?
Yes, I want. Yeah, so opaque.
What does that mean? Okay, opacity. I gotta use it.
You know. So I want full transparency. Right. And so that was quote unquote none of my business. You know, how much did they make? You know, and so that's why I really wanted to go independent, because I was like, yo, if we sold 180,000 records the first time, how did I only sell? We're in the information age. How did I only sell 60,000 the second time? We should just email everybody who bought the first.
Is that just U.S. sales? Because they could have did that, and like you said, they didn't give you the information. So maybe you sold, because we was hearing the records everywhere. So we had to, maybe they...
I truly believe, man, I think that the records were favorites amongst artists.
Okay, wow.
So if artists were sending around, yo, you heard Ryan's joint, etc., they were favorites. But when I went to Germany, I was not on the radio in Germany. Everything was on little mixtapes. People were spinning it in clubs, etc. But there was that real groundswell of people that's like, yo, I like this music, you know?
I remember me asking for like accounting and things like that, and they telling me, the record label was saying, "Oh yeah, we spent $500 grand in Japan, and we spent 250,000 in Dusseldorf, Germany, and we spent this and
only in Dusseldorf, Joe.
Right. You know Dusseldorf is my favorite place.
That's the only place
You know Dusseldorf. You know, I go to Hamburg, Frankfurt, all that. You know, Berlin and all that. You know, I've been around quite some time. But what I'm trying to say is, when they did that to me, I couldn't. Like, it was, I don't know, I don't want to say it wasn't ordered in back then.
Yes.
I just didn't know about it. Right. There was no way for me to, there was no Instagram. So if they said they had a poster of me in Japan, I had to just take it.
We know now that they were scamming everybody that way.
Right.
Yeah, for real?
Yes, the marketing budgets were all, they were siphoning money like a motherfucker.
This is proven that I got caught.
But this is why you love the majors, because the era that you were in was when the record labels were flush with cash. So they didn't make you pay back. They would be like, cool, they would let you off your cut.
It's still flush with cash, though. Let's not get it twisted.
It was crazier back then. That, the record off of CDs,
I love
those margins back then.
I love this. Me and him argue all the time because he's a super independent guy. Which
I just think that independent, if you want to go to major, be independent first so you can leverage and have a better deal.
Oh, no.
With the machine. You know
see, I feel the opposite. And you tell me. I feel like you should go major first. Let them spend that budget on you, because they can't never take back your fame.
Yes.
It's not like that now. In his era, it was. Now, they're accounting for every penny.
I'm not a dinosaur, man. Like, what do you mean? It wasn't 900 years ago.
But in the terms of the record business, it was.
Yeah. What I'm saying, though, is I agree. If somebody else is going to spend the money to make you famous, and then you can actually leverage that and make sure you do it the right way.
And you can come out whole. Yes. But now, a lot of these artists aren't coming out whole. They're stuck in that now. And these deals.
I don't know what you mean. What,
they're
deals,
stuck, so they
spend the money. They haven't recouped.
They can't.
You talking about stuck with the record label?
Back then, you could not recoup, and they were doing well. The labels, they could have liked you as an artist. Be like, cool, yeah, no problem, and we'll let you out your deal. Or let this person buy you out your deal. Like, they were making deals left and right.
I don't think as Nori, I never recouped. Capone Noriega, I did. As Nori, I spent so much money. I mean, like, I wanted to.
Nori signs today. He's signing a 360 deal where the name Noriega or Nori is copyrighted by the label. Yeah. And when you don't recoup, you can't use that name. You better go on as Sir Francis Jr., the MC, out there and make a living, buddy.
Oh, man, let's get back to Quick Time Slime. They got spooky.
But even though these labels are crumbling as we see them right now, I think the tech companies are the new record labels. And they're the ones winning.
I think your idea, period, is a new record label for those that
I'm talking about the bad guys. When I say the bad,
but imagine we take your concept, right? And now you showing people, you listen, because even when you was dropping independent, it looked like you was major.
Oh, because we
watched you in the Breakfast Club and I seen you acknowledge
we were moving that way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, but that's the other piece of it. It requires also the financial infrastructure.
Right.
Because otherwise, like if you can make 100 grand, pay $4,000 a month forever, then that means you can make $1 million, pay $40,000 a month forever. Right? So that's really, once you have both the business infrastructure and the financial infrastructure, then it becomes an infinite loop. And that infinite loop is really what that's really what an artist needs to be able to say, like, you know what, I want to go record my next album in France somewhere. You know, like the Rolling Stones did it.
Go to France.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Right.
Yeah. All right, so you know what I think? I think you being as smart as you are, right? You having this early idea that's fucking genius. We all know it's genius, and we all know if it works, when it works, how the artist can benefit off of this. Right now, radio is still important, right? I told this to Fat Joe the other day. I was like, yo, if I was to ever drop a record again, you're gonna work my radio.
Yeah, for sure.
Like him. Like,
right, yeah.
No, I don't want you to hire somebody, Joe.
Yeah,
I want you. You know every PD. He's put in 27 to more years.
Right.
He put in that work.
Where Joe has to fight. He did it. I feel like that's the future. Like when the concept that you have, but artists working for other artists, and artists are saying, I always love Violator for that. Violator was like artists managing artists.
Yes.
Chris Lighty was like an artist.
Yeah.
And that's where I think this is going. Like, I know it's sounding so minute, but I feel like Fat Joe will be running ahead of the radio department. See how he just dropped the record just now, and the shit just went through everywhere. It was everywhere. Not because he's my friend. This shit was just everywhere. And I'm like, he knows what he's doing. I think eventually we're gonna hire ourselves to do the work on your platform. You think it's gonna go that way? Let me speak it to existence.
I would like to see that.
That would be dope.
What I will say though is, just as you said, there will be other iterations of platforms for folks to actually communicate with their fans.
Yeah. Right.
I think the money piece is more of an issue. Because the money piece is what people, even like you said, when we started this conversation, you said, oh, I didn't know there was something that could do that, right? And so I feel as though, for me, even moving from music to technology is because I felt like I could serve a wider tranche of the population.
Tranche?
Just go with it, man. Just go with it.
I've been Googling all day. Let my mind. Okay.
Right. So I think
he's got the spread.
I think now you're right. But the ability for money management from the concept of what artists really like. Because we, like you said, we like the Four Seasons. We like the, if we give fly charter, we like to fly charter. Right. If we could go vacation, we could go on a destination recording. We'd rather do that than the bedroom recording, right? So it's about how do you work the finances to be able to deliver that. And that's why I think, like you said, when we were doing independent albums, we still look.
I swear to God, I thought you were still on a major. You know what I'm saying? Like, me and him always argue that, and it's like, yo, you know what? Let's take the best of both worlds and mix it together.
Yeah.
And I think that's what this is. Like, for us to make independent money, but to look like a major, a major's backing it. Because then you lose nothing. Yeah. You actually gain everything.
Yeah.
Like, and I believe that this is eventually.
And to be able,
I believe you struck it.
To stand on your own independently and strike strategic partnerships with whatever major entities.
Yeah.
That's really the goal, because that's where you could get a lot of financing from.
Yeah, for sure.
Doing
Think
deals.
about it. Sorry to cut you off. Think about it. When you're doing it on your own, and if you don't show up to the radio station, it all gets on you.
Yeah.
But now if you have somebody who's professional in that position, it's like you're still independent, but you got somebody else helping and saying, yo, listen, we got to make it to Cosmic Cav at 5 p.m.
Yeah.
He's going to pull our record if we don't do it. If you have somebody who has that experience, I think, why wouldn't you do that? I think that's the only thing that's missing from this beautiful idea. Is like, you know what? It might be really us running us. And when I say us, I don't mean race.
Right.
I mean the people that's a part of the culture.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? It's like,
it's important.
Yeah, it's super important. I think we should make some noise for that. Okay. I had a moment. Go ahead.
Where are we at here? Okay.
Or they over there snitching on you saying you ain't take the shot.
Illmatic or Ready to Die?
Ooh.
Both.
Okay, yeah. That's a great answer.
Yeah.
You need another couple shots over here.
I bet you didn't think you was gonna come and get a drink.
But it's a drinker.
It's not.
Well, now you're a drink champ.
Well, now you're a drink. You went from not being a drinker to a drink champ.
Right.
All right, good.
¿Dónde está Moggy? Diana Ross or Donna Summers?
Ooh.
Diana Ross.
Remove that.
Missy or Eve?
Missy.
That was easy.
Any stories? You're not telling us any stories.
Diana Ross, that's a favorite of my mother's, you know? And Missy Elliott, I mean, just sort of set the standard. And I think really...
But did you say Diana Ross and Missy?
No. Diana Ross or Donna Summer, and you said Missy or Eve. And so
how you answer two questions at one time? That's ill. That's the first time ever. First time ever. Like that's fire.
Right. Now, Missy really, you know, I think the signing of Missy out of that camp as well.
Being she was a writer at first.
Right. I mean, that whole camp, honestly, was just super, ultra, incredibly ill. Because it was Timbo, it was Missy, it was Genuine, it was
Aaliyah.
Player.
But it's like Pharrell said, there's something in the water over there. You know, going on with
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I got next one.
All right. Stevie Wonder or Marvin Gaye?
Stevie Wonder.
Said that
Did
quick.
I hear that Stevie Wonder walked you to the stage one time?
Yes. Yes.
So it's confirmed. He can see.
We always get on here. Shaq told us
we have so many stories of him seeing a lot of shit.
Yo, but did I hear that story that y'all walked to the stage together, something like that?
Yeah, I forget where I was performing, and it was some. Yeah, it was
and he didn't have a walking stick. Let's be real.
And Stevie,
no.
He walked up to you, was like, "What's up, nigga?" Like, yo, where's He's smiling. Stevie Wonder out here.
He's like, yeah, I don't know.
I respect that. Go ahead. Oh, okay.
Motif or Phantom?
Motif. I played
What's
it.
that?
Yeah, I played it. Yeah.
That's these guys over here.
Right.
You got this, Nar?
Yeah, Ray or Ghost?
The Wraith.
Well, he went in Cars.
He put it together.
And that's not what it was, right?
No, I said Ray or Ghostface. Raekwon or Ghostface. I'm about to take a shot. I'm glad
I thought you said the
Since I'm not in that category, I said that's not what we're talking about.
I'm glad. Thank you. You saved me for this one. Yeah, Ray or Ghost.
Raekwon. I gotta say Raekwon because he actually did a record with me.
Oh wow.
Raekwon, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Mariah or Alicia Keys?
Both.
Man,
salute.
To much more life.
Music industry or the tech industry?
Both.
Okay. And I knew he was going to say that.
Right.
So, like I said, by the way,
it's a mix.
That's not even in there. That's not even in there. I just made that up, and I knew. Yeah, that's not even in there. I just made it up because
I want to put a pin in it real quick.
Okay.
Because before, when I said about the tech industry taking over the music industry, what is your take on that? Like how everybody's kind of vilifying the Spotifys and all the DSPs. Like, what do you think?
It's necessary. I think
they're a necessary evil.
I believe that a symbiotic relationship between the creativity and the technology is necessary, and it will take several iterations until it will be perceived as fair. But I believe, like, you know, that there was no other way to go than a Netflix or a Spotify.
Right. But do you
like it's all the entire library of all recorded music is in my device right now.
Well, the library of humanity is in your hand right now.
But that's what I'm saying. So it's inevitable, and it's almost like how people they might want to vilify AI, but it's inevitable. And so we were just talking about Motif versus Phantom, but when you think or Stevie Wonder, the guy Ray Kurzweil who made the Kurzweil synthesizer, he's a super forward thinker on what's called technological singularity, where you won't be able to tell the difference between a human and a robot. At some point, he believes that at some point it's going to converge, and so that's why you have a neural link from Elon Musk or whatever. Like he'll put a chip, and it's like, okay, you either assimilate or do you at some point there are folks that are going to say, hey, I don't want the chip in my child. But then does that mean that your child is now going to be behind all the other kids that have a chip? right? So at some point, there is going to have to be some sort of convergence, and it's about us as a race, as a species, understanding how we do that in the safest way possible.
But putting your financial cap on, don't you think that the conversation should be had, because we're seeing it in real time. The DSPs are making an incredible amount of money.
Spotify just got 365 million.
Yeah.
Billions, and they're making billions.
I mean,
yeah.
365.
Yeah.
Off of, because obviously the model is that now anybody could be an artist and feed that model.
Yeah.
And it generates income, but
that's exactly what I'm saying. At some point, through different iterations, we will get to a relationship that's fair and equitable. But in the early stages, he who controls the cash flow controls how the actual pie is divided. You know what I'm saying? Right. And right now, as artists,
so you're optimistic that it will pan out.
It's inevitable, in my opinion.
Like Snoop Dogg, I believe he's the first one that said how unfair these music splits are.
Yeah.
He's the one at that status, but a lot of people have been saying that.
Yeah.
I believe he's the first one I saw. Like,
no, definitely at that status that was willing to step up.
Right. Producing or singing?
Singing. Performing. I mean, there's really just no. Yes, being a producer is awesome, but I mean, there is no substitute for being on stage in front of. Talk about it. You could be in the lab and imagine it as a producer. Yo, this is gonna be crazy at such and such. But when you do that festival, stadium, you got people jumping and singing every word back. There is no substitute for that.
I always say an artist that's a producer is the most unselfish person on the planet, because in order for you to make a hit and give that shit away, especially after you know what a hit record feels like, that shit must be feeling like giving a thumb away. A limb away. Have you ever gave away a record and was like...
Well, that was that first record. That was Hot Tonight.
Oh, okay.
That was that first record.
You didn't want to get that?
Nah.
But you had to put somebody else in front.
Yeah, we let it go.
Wow. Okay.
All right. Lionel Richie or Smokey Robinson?
Lionel Richie.
You got a story with him?
Well, in my family, they're a very religious family. So there were only two non-religious 8-tracks in our house. And one was Lionel Richie and the other one was Michael Jackson. So everything else was
it easy like Sunday morning?
Well, I mean, it was no, it was the one with All Night Long on it.
All Night Long.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Outkast or UGK?
Outkast.
It's the 25th anniversary of Outkast today.
The first album?
Yeah.
I believe like the second album or something like that.
Rick Ross or Meek Mill?
Rose.
Clips or Mobb Deep?
Ooh. Clips. Just because Pusha T is on something that I like.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, Mr. Lee's very happy. He just brightened up right now. That's his fan. We love Clips over here.
Yeah. Lauryn Hill or Queen Latifah?
Lauryn Hill. I was going to say Lauryn Hill no matter who you said second.
Right.
And the reason for that is just...
Need to know.
Two parts of that. Once again, grew up very almost sheltered, but that's all my mother could talk about. Mother and father could talk about. Was her performance in Sister Act.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. She was a kid.
Yeah.
Do you realize she only has one album?
That's all you need.
That's crazy.
That's all you need.
I never realized that.
That album, when you have that's all you need.
Well, I mean, you got to count the Fugees.
Yeah.
That is her album,
I said
too.
But we didn't say the
I know, but
Fugees.
that's another classic.
Yeah, you're right.
It's on, in my opinion, that's as close, almost as close to a perfect album as you can possibly get in terms of what I like.
I mean, I think everybody would agree with you. I think, at least in the hip hop world,
the production, the songs, the emotion. I was actually, it's crazy. I was just watching. I think it must have been like an MTV Unplugged or something like that. And then she actually because one of my favorite records is the X Factor record, but then there's a clip on YouTube where she actually is freestyling at the end of it, and it's all live, and it's just that whole vibe is just.
And the fact her son is out here doing this thing,
killing it, yeah.
A part of the Marley family, extended that, like that is greatness. Yeah. That is greatness.
And
that is fun.
Her album is such a positive album too.
Yeah.
It's the last one for Quick Time of Slime. Let me get back into the interview. Loyalty or respect?
Loyalty.
Why? Elaborate.
Loyalty. Well, I mean, listen, you can be respected by many, even by those who don't know you. But to have loyalty or to have true betrayal, someone really has to know you.
That was hard.
Yeah.
He's got a flight soon. So.
Okay.
What time's his flight, Mr. Lee?
Oh, shit. Yo, we got you drunk, man. But yo.
Yeah, I'll take my last shot with you.
I'll take another shot.
Right.
Okay.
What time's his flight?
7:20.
Okay. Let's talk about the wealth plan before we get up out of it. What exactly is the wealth plan? I know we touched on it a little bit earlier, but
I feel like we've covered it because it's more of a concept than an actual, the wealth plan. So it's just more of the fact that we have a service that we provide, whether it's to artists, musicians, but anybody. I have folks that have been longtime fans of mine, but work at Facebook, work at Google, and they're like, "Hey, I'm the first person in my family making tech money, and I want to be that differentiator in my family for how." Our money is going to grow, and that's the crazy piece about it is you could be really smart in technology. You could be really smart in college. You could be really smart in music. You could be really smart in business, but you don't know anything about investing and how to make the money work for you and last forever and how to actually do it in the right ways with tax laws and all that kind of stuff that allows you to really live how you want to live. And for what we do at Wealth Plan, it's kind of twofold. One is just how to teach people how to invest. But number two, what is money unless you can enjoy it with the people you love when you're in the best years of your life? Because a lot of folks put a huge emphasis of retirement, et cetera. And yes, you should have a great life in your golden years, but you should have a great life now with the people you love. You know what I'm saying? And so if you know how to take a small amount of money and make it work for you so that you don't feel a pain, like I said, and we gave that example. If you want to hire your mom, that in many cases it would seem like a massive financial commitment. But if the money's doing it for you, then you can do it and actually feel great about it. You know what I'm saying? And that's really what the wealth plan actually is all about.
Something I admire about you throughout all this thing that everything is going on. It's like you stay positive.
Gotta be.
It's not easy.
That's not easy. Not always.
I mean, even though you're making it seem like it's easy, and I said, through your music, like God bless me for using this term, but you remind me of the male Sade, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can get a massage, listen to your shit, and be cool, and still be cool.
That went crazy right now.
No, I'm just saying, like, it's music that make me feel good. Like, I'm not gonna listen to getting a massage. I'm listening to some smooth shit. But how do you maintain that positivity? Like, this shit is. It's crazy right now. You can say crazy things about whatever you want to say online, and you're maintaining. You're not jumping out there. You're not commenting on,
whatever's happening.
Yeah,
and the reason for it is because there actually is no better feeling than being helpful to someone. And I'm telling you, just something as simple as if just imagine how you would feel if you in line in a Starbucks or somebody says, you know what, I actually what are you ordering? I got you. It's something as simple as that.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, if you're the person who's able to do that, that gives you that kind of positivity that you're able to do something for someone. And so I think really there's two parts of it. Number one, take care of yourself so that you're in a position to be helpful and of service to folks.
Right.
So obviously, if you're taking care of yourself, you're going to feel great, right?
It's like the plane mask. You got to put it on yourself first before you even help your kids.
And then number two, actually be in that spirit of service, because there is no greater reward than knowing that something that you've done is actually helpful to someone else. And that's and so that's why I have the optimism about music and technology.
Right.
That's why I have the optimism with, if people are not making that much money in music or that much money, period. I have seen folks who have taken, mail carrier, commercial truck driver salaries and turned it to millions of dollars. And it's because they just need to know. It's middle school math, but somebody just got to show them.
Too. They had some discipline.
Yeah, and they got somebody that's going to show them.
Right.
And for me, I had someone to show me. So that's really what it's about for me now, is that legacy of actually saying, and whoever wants to talk to me about it, textryan.com. Still to this day, you leave your number there, and it's my direct number. And obviously, I've got technology to, make sure that we weed out the bad actors, and we have, safeguards in there. You know what I'm saying?
Bots all are
but the bottom line is that there is I couldn't be at a better place, because I see every single day the impact that I'm having, and it's a real commitment to the furtherance of community, the furtherance of our culture, the furtherance of just humanity in general. I know it sounds lofty, but that's
like, I believe heavily in the golden rule. Like, do unto others how you would like to be yourself.
Exactly.
Like that's a basic thing that everybody should implement.
Yes.
So
for sure.
We know you gotta go, but on this day, Monday, September 23rd, at 6:23.
Yeah.
Do you think that we would be talking here and Diddy being in jail?
No. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Yeah. And I think really for me, it's because when I first got into the music game, we talked about Tommy Mottola. It was Tommy and Puff. Those were my mentors. Mm-hmm. Puff was on the management side. Tommy signed me as an artist on the publishing side. Puff and Gwen Niles, they managed me. Oh. But I've always been in my own insulated. I didn't see any of this going on. I literally did not see any of it. So all I saw was someone who gave me an opportunity, somebody who put me in the room with all the biggest artists. My first placement ever was on Beyonce because of this connection. Britney Spears, doing Danity Kane, singles for Loon, singles for New Edition. But that's because I basically was in my little ivory tower making stuff, sending it, and literally, incredible connections and opportunities were being created from the music. So all I needed to do was be in the music. But even today, I mean, y'all can see from even me being in Harvard that young, I never acquired a taste for alcohol, for drugs, for partying. And not to say when I got to New York, that's actually how I met Cassie, because I was like, yo, I'm a big producer now. I'm going to the club, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Right. But I have never really had that as a vice. I think I have obsessiveness in other pursuits. So I would have never, literally never. And also, folks have always talked to me and said, hey, they've asked me, hey, how do you feel? Were you heartbroken? Puff took your girl, whatever it was. And I understand when a story or a narrative is not for me. And once it was no longer for me, then there were other narratives and stories for me to invest my time, energy, and resources into. So even for all of this of course you heard, but I was just in my ivory tower the whole time. So I would have never.
I admire your attitude.
For sure.
I admire your maturity. I admire you holding it down.
For sure.
Because, there could have been a lot of things you could have answered that, and you answered that like a grown man. You answered like a person that is not petty. And I'm very petty. So I can recognize when a person is not going down that same block that I stay on. But I respect that, man. I respect that, man. Thank you for being here. I know you got to catch a flight.
Yes.
Take a couple of pictures, get a drop, and man, yo, man, we really wanted to give you your flowers, man.
Appreciate
you deserve
that,
it, man. You deserve it because you leading the way for every artist, not just independent artists, because major artists is who find out, you know, how much that. How much are they giving 100% for and receiving so little?
Right.
And when, you know, I had to take me years to find out, but you leading the way and me seeing you doing it in real time.
Yeah.
You know, I get to witness you do this in real time. I get to witness you, you know, do your shows in real time, sell your merch in real time, and sit back and say, damn, man, that's something that I eventually want to do with Drink Champs. You know, we want to drop a compilation album. And I just feel like everyone should pay attention to your story.
Let's go.
And we got your back.